No, hey guys, welcome back to Mainframe Comic-Con, broadcasting live from Chicago Comics here in the heart of the Windy City. That was a lot of fun sitting down with Mr. Clark Gregg, joining us right now. Really excited about this one, guys. Incredibly excited to introduce the cast and creators of one of my favorite returning shows on AMC, the supernatural horror NOS4A2. Joining us here, if I am seeing correctly, we got Mr. Joe Hill. How you doing there, Joe? There he is. There's Joe. How's it going, man?
How are you?
It's good to see you again, by the way. Last time we saw you was in Chicago.
Man, I wish I was in that shop right now. Have a look at it. Man,
this Chicago Comics, absolutely. If you're ever in the Windy City, stop by Chicago Comics. I can almost see Wrigley Field from where I'm sitting. Also on the
comic stores, man. I'm missing comic stores.
We got really lucky. They opened the doors and then closed them and locked them right behind us as soon as we walked in to broadcast this.
I want to introduce a pandemic. Who doesn't want to be hermetically sealed in a comic store?
It's fun, of all the places to be. Hey, look who it is! Hey. Star of NOS4A2. We've got Jahkara Smith, Jami O'Brien. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Can't complain.
Yeah,
how's everybody doing on social quarantine?
It's probably like the most consecutive sleep I've ever gotten in my life. Like, to be 100%. I'm just like, it went very quickly from like, oh, I hate being at home to, oh, I'm so lucky I have a home. So like at this point, anytime I start getting bored, I'm just like, shut up. Go sit down somewhere on your furniture that you have because you're blessed.
Looks like you've been painting the walls a little bit, Jahkara.
Oh, yeah. I have a couple pieces from my friends up there. And then I have a couple. Actually, when we were filming season 2, me and my best friend started doing this thing called Inktober. But we did watercolor paints instead of ink, where like they just throw a word out on social media and you just do your interpretation of that. And it helps a lot with the winter time. So,
Jahkara, you're really good.
Thank you.
I've seen some of the stuff on Instagram. It's amazing.
Thank you. Joe's so nice to me. He's like my biggest hype man. Anytime I feel like I can't do something, I think of him and his wife like hyping me up. I'm like, and then I grow up like 6 times bigger.
Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. We're healthy and lucky enough to still kind of be working from home. So we're doing good. It's nice here, sunny. It's pretty nice.
Awesome. Well, we're all so excited about season 2 of NOS4A2. Premieres on AMC and the BBC America Monday nights, I believe, or is the premiere Sunday?
It's changed to Sunday. So originally it was June 1st, which was going to be Monday nights at 10. And now they've pushed it to June 21st, which is a Sunday. And we're going to be on Sunday nights at 9.
All right, Sunday, June 21st.
Begged us to move to Sunday because they were like, we can't have you killing our Monday night programming like that,
Exactly.
So we were like, all right.
Sunday is not a bad time slot.
I actually think it's a better time slot, so I'm not complaining about it. I'm a little disappointed because I'm so excited for people to see the season. So I was like bummed out that we had to push it off 3 weeks, but 9 o'clock I think is better than 10 o'clock.
It worked for Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So.
The X-Files had the Sunday night slot in their best years. Then they got bumped to Thursday and everyone stopped watching.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I remember that. I just do.
Well, Joe, last time we had you on, you gave us a little bit of a tease of season 2 of NOS4A2. You said it's bigger, it's crazier, it's more insane. Jamie, I want to ask you a question for those people out there who haven't seen the first season of NOS4A2. I want to do completely spoiler-free, but kind of get people up to speed on what the basic synopsis of the show is and kind of where you're at right now going into season 2.
Oh, okay. So in season 1, we meet everybody, right? We meet the players in season 1. We meet a man called Charlie Makes. We discover what he's up to, which isn't any good. And we meet our protagonist, Vic McQueen, and we meet Maggie Lee. And we kind of set the stage and who has what power and what they're all after. And basically there's this guy named Charlie Makes who has a car that runs on human souls instead of gasoline. And as it kind of runs on souls, it replenishes him. So it takes the souls from whatever child he happens to have in the back seat and kind of uses it to run and also to like repower Charlie Makes. So Maggie is the first person who kind of realizes what he's up to and that he's operating in the world when he takes a neighbor of hers. And she has a magical Scrabble bag that gives her the answers to the universe. And so she asks the Scrabble bag, how do I stop this guy? And the Scrabble bag answers the Brat, which is the nickname, of course, of Vic McQueen. So that's how those two kind of come together, determined to chase after Charlie Makes. They learn his weaknesses, they go after him, and there's a showdown at the end of season 1 in which Vic kind of, I would say, wins the battle, but not the war. Stops him, but she has not killed him. And also when we leave season 1, Vic McQueen is pregnant. So when we come back in season 2, there's an 8-year time jump. Guess what? Charlie Makes is going to figure out a way to come back at Vic, and now she has a son. So the stakes are much higher. And because everybody kind of already knows how the world operates, everything happens much quicker. Makes knows who Vic is, knows what her powers are, knows how to defeat her, knows what her weakness is. And the same thing, Vic knows who Makes is. Maggie knows how to, she already knows that the key to destroying him is to destroy the Wraith. So they kind of go at each other right off the bat.
I'm getting excited. So before we go any further, go ahead, Joe.
Kind of like, even though we jump ahead 8 years, do you remember how in Halloween 2, like Michael Myers got right off the gurney and started killing people like in the first 2 minutes of the film? It's kind of like that. I mean, it really, when we pick things up, it's we're already moving 100 miles an hour.
Well, I understand we have a clip where we have some trailers that we're going to show to all of our. We got a lot of people, a lot of NOS4A2 fans. We're hitting us up on social media, getting really, really excited about seeing you guys and talking to you guys. By the way, if you guys are in the chat, you have any questions, we're going to opening up towards the end of the panel for some live Q&A for all you fans out there. But Chad, do we have the trailers queued up?
There are a lot of bad people in the world, and Charlie Makes is one of them.
I'll admit I underestimated you.
I will stop you even if it kills you. It's a promise.
NOS4A2. Think of me at Christmas time, won't you? NOS4A2.
And there it is!
Yay!
Season 2
awesome.
of
I didn't get
NOS4A2.
the sound. Did everyone get the sound?
Yeah, yo.
I have the sound.
I got
You got
sound.
the sound. I didn't get the sound for some reason.
Oh, wow, it looks good.
It's good. It sounds good.
It sounds
Awesome.
fantastic.
I mean, yeah, like I was saying, Joe, when we last saw you, you said it's harder, it's scarier, it's crazier, and it certainly looks that way from that. Jahkara, I want to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
I don't want to embarrass you, okay, but we did have Joe on the show a little while ago, and he said, and I quote, Jahkara is a breakout star. She completely dazzles in the show. What a sweetie, right?
No, when I said he's my biggest hype man, I was not lying. He's so nice. Everyone has been so nice and so welcoming, and I was terrified because it was my first job. And I was like, I'm going to suck, and everybody's going to know that I suck. And I was like, oh, but everyone was so nice. Anytime I had a question, anytime I was worried, people were there with encouragement and things that they had learned, both business-wise and set-wise. And it's a really cool experience. Any kind of success I attain here is because I have a really good support system.
Well, you're instant fan favorite, man. I mean, people absolutely, especially what a creepy effect when you reach into that Scrabble bag and your arm disappears. That is just that well done, Jami, and your special effects team. That just looks awesome.
Yes.
What can you tell us about Maggie Lee and sort of her character in season 1, but more importantly, kind of her journey in season 2?
So I think a lot of Maggie's situation in season 2 pertains to her having attained what she's kind of lacked her whole life. Her whole thing has been, I want a family. She had Joe, and then unfortunately, the Christmas Land kids got a hold of him. She had Vic, and then Vic was like, I can't stay here. And in season 1, we see her left off with Tabitha to hunt Bing, and that's kind of flourished into this really beautiful relationship where she's got the stability she's always wanted, but she's still not satiated. And I feel like that speaks to a lot of people, especially when they've gone through their 20s, is like thinking you know exactly what you want and chasing after it relentlessly, falling back to like bad coping mechanisms when you can't attain it. And then when you finally get this thing that you've put on a pedestal for so long, it's not as satisfying as you thought it was. So I think a lot of season 2 has to do with whether or not she wants to stay with where she's been left off, or if she wants to go searching further. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, I just saw somebody put up a comment saying how amazingly wonderful you are.
The big shocking spoiler is actually Maggie runs Charlie Manx down in the first 15 minutes of episode 1 with her Trans Am. And then the next 9 episodes, her and Vic play Scrabble.
I've watched that show.
Did not see that coming. Well, I want to ask you, I mean, sort of a side question for Jamie and Joe. What fans of the novel pretty much caught on right away, and what fans of the show might not realize, is really the first season of the show is only the first piece of the book. There's so much more story to tell, right? I mean, Jamie, was this something that you knew you wanted to do when you first? Because I mean, you're the showrunner of the whole show. Did you know you were only going to do half of it? Did you instantly see multiple seasons out of just the novel?
Absolutely. You know, part of me thought, well, if I don't get through the whole book, AMC will have to pick up another season. I'm mostly kidding about that. But yeah, for fans of the book, I think like the first third of the book is a lot about Vic and her home life. It also goes into Manx and Bing. But the part of it for the show that I was really interested in was just really getting to know Vic. And her kind of coming of age story, which I thought was really beautiful in the book. And she kind of, the first time she encounters Charlie Manx is about a third of the way in. And, we wanted to kind of move that up because we thought, it's a television show and there are 2 main characters. We got to kind of get them together quicker. But I still thought that break point, there's actually a time jump in the book as well. So we've kind of followed along what Joe laid out for us.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember working on the book, and there's a confrontation at a gas station, and I got to it, and I thought, finally, I'm going to end this book. And then I got done with the scene, and I said, oh shit, I don't even think I'm halfway. I thought I was done.
And it's such an exciting moment in the book. Like, it's the introduction of Luke Carmody, who's such a character. And that gas station scene is harrowing and terrifying. And it also is, it's the moment where you realize just how brave and courageous Vic McQueen is, and Luke Carmody. Like, both of them, neither of them has a chance against this supernatural vampire, but they fling themselves at him because they're trying to protect a kid that they don't even know that's in the backseat of this Wraith. And it's, I remember reading it and I was like, oh, I just love this girl. And and then it takes off from there because, as Vic says to Maggie, spoiler alert, in our first episode, she says, we didn't finish the job. He's still out there, and I don't think he's dead, and I think we have more work to do.
How much of a time jump is there between season 1 and season 2? Because, I mean, Vic, obviously, in season 2, she has her child, right? I mean, so how many years are we looking at?
8 years.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So who did we cast for young McQueen Jr.?
His name is Jason David, and I can't wait for you guys to see him because he's awesome.
He's great.
He's so the greatest kid.
He's such a good kid, and he's really smart and just really kind and sweet and funny. And it was funny, by the time we were shooting the finale, he was directing the whole thing. Like, I remember Ashley coming to place Vic had a question about, well, where do I think he is? And I just remember walking up to Ashley and being like, listen, I've done this and you want to know that. So you're trying to get me to, like, he just, like, she was like, wow, okay. And we were all kind of delighted by it as well, because he is getting to know his way around the set.
Yeah.
Also, Jahkara, speaking of Ashley's not here with. I mean, we see photos of you and Ashley on red carpets. You guys look like you really get along. You look like you're really good friends. So, what's your experience working with Ashley Cummings, who plays Vic McQueen in the show, both on camera and off camera?
Oh, dude, she's great. I mean, I think she's fantastic. She's really, really good actress, like insanely good. And she's so in touch with her emotions, which is a huge part, I think, of our job, or being able to do our job as authentically as we can. And it's easy to talk about difficult scenes with her. Like, it's easy to talk about uncomfortable moments between them. It's easy to talk about how to navigate those as people who have to like look each other in the eye after it's done. Like, throwing up all over her in season 1 was not as difficult as I thought it was going to be, because we both were just like, I was like, this shit is awesome. I'm sorry. And she was like, oh, it's great. Like, when you do it, like, project. She was like, throw your head back. And it was like, great. It's like you put 2 toddlers together in a room with a bunch of shit they're not supposed to have. That's like what you get with us too, which is one of the reasons why it's so good, I think. Like, and I think that's what reasons that Vic and Maggie's relationship translates well, is because we're friends in real life.
Jamie, what's the movie magic behind projectile vomiting on set? Is it literally just a mouthful of fluid, or is there something more to it? Is there a chemical involved?
I think in Maggie's case last season, it was literally a mouthful of fluid.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried the gag again this year a little differently. I won't give it away.
one of the biggest changes between the show and the book is, in the show, you know, Maggie and Vic are really co-equal heroes. And I've been working out in my head. I've been trying to figure out who they metaphorically compare to. Maggie is kind of like if Hermione Granger had a drug habit and was into self-harm. and Vic is kind of like if Buffy the Vampire Slayer had more of Vin Diesel's personality from Fast and the Furious.
Wow, the author speaks.
They're a great Butch and Sundance pair, though, and Jamie really leaned into that in the second season. There's a lot of great moments where the two of them are battling together, and I thought, shit, I wish I had put them side by side like this in the book, you know. But that's the thing about with an adaptation, is you get a chance to make things to punch things up, to make things even more exciting.
I just saw a really good comment that just popped up on the screen from Marvelous. Sorry to cut you off, Jamie. Sorry, your face is not seen right now. But from Marvelous Adventures of T and G. Thank you for the super chat donations, by the way. Writes Joe, we've been getting some consistent visual content based on your stories, like NOS4A2, In the Tall Grass, Lock and Key. What untapped content will we see in live action from you in the future?
Next up is, so the pandemic has curtailed filming of really everything. But no one need despair. I'm going to do the second season of Lock and Key solo with sock puppets on Zoom. And we'll call it Sock and Key.
Well, but I want to get back to NOS4A2, of course.
Very good.
Joe, what's your...
I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that.
You worked on that one.
I like it. I'd watch that show.
What's your involvement on the show in NOS4A2? As far as I know, you're a producer on the show, Joe. Are you involved at all in sort of the creative process on the screen, or is that just all Jamie 100%?
A lot of it is Jamie. A lot of it is Jamie for sure. You know, she has a great team of writers. I mean, the thing is like it's almost like writer's room code that like no one is really allowed to. You know, you sort of don't. You know, you don't talk about what happens in the writer's room. But Jamie is, she is everyone's compass. She knows what direction we're heading in, and she worked with a tremendous team. Tom Brady, you know, Jamie, you want to reel off some of the other writers, because we really worked with a killer's team. You know, a murderer's row.
Yeah, Joe's being a little. He's being a little modest. He did come into our writer's room in season 2 at the top for, we were lucky because he was in town for Comic-Con. So we did have the opportunity to pick his brain a little bit. And I think we got a great new character out of it, who I'm excited for you guys to meet. I think we meet him in episode 3. I mean, his imagination is so big that it's like we'd be dumb not to invite him in as much as we can. So he's a little more involved than he just said. And now I forget the question that you asked me. I'm sorry.
Who else do we work with? It was Tom Brady. Who's the rest of the room?
The writers. Tom Brady, who was an executive producer on the show this season, and is a phenomenal writer. I met him on Hell on Wheels, and we worked together for a long time. And he's super talented. He writes a lot of our big action episodes, and then a pile of playwrights. Really. Lucy Thurber, who is a brilliant American playwright. Megan Musson Brown, she's our co-executive producer. She worked both Tom, Megan, and Lucy were all on season 1. Megan is they're all just phenomenal writers. And then this season we added Ray Pamatmat, who's a playwright, and Loy Webb, who is a Chicago-based playwright. And yeah, it's a great mix. And a lot of fun to work with.
They did some really inventive stuff with the scripts this year. You know, in particular, episode 5. Is it? I think it's episode 5. I don't want to say anything about it because I don't want to have spoilers. But it does this kind of Rashomon thing where you keep seeing the same scene, but from different points of view and discovering whole new bits of information that change everything you saw in the scene before. You know,
Which was inspired by the book, Joe. That section of the book is written in that way. And at the beginning of season 2, Joe has this beautiful way in the book of a thing that takes about 10 minutes. He'll kind of tell it from different characters' points of view, and in a way that you're getting new information every time you're hearing it. And that was another thing that I loved about the book. So this season, at the beginning of the year, I was like, let's do that. Can we just do that? Because my goal is basically like whatever work Joe has already done is work we don't have to do. So we embrace that. That's where that came from.
Jahkara, so besides the projectile vomiting and stuff, can you point to one scene at least from season 1 that you enjoyed most in shooting, or maybe something from season 2 that you just had a really good time with?
I think that the Wraith chase in season 1 was pretty fun because they had like the cars, like the more we sort of blocked it out, the more they were adding for me to do, because they're like, oh, okay, well, are you comfortable with this? Are you comfortable with this? It was just fun because it was like some Tomb Raider shit. Yeah. And I was like, let's go. I was like, Maggie's a beast. And then she gets hit by the car and I was like, never mind. And in season 2, it was probably I do have a favorite scene in season 2, but I cannot talk about it.
Okay, we're excited to see it.
Maggie gets to square up, basically. She gets to step up a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. Jami. So, I mean, I'm always interested in hearing about sort of the behind-the-scenes production of shows, especially like NOS4A2. What can you tell us about sort of the behind-the-scenes, the production of the show? Where is it shot? How much is in studio? How much is on scene? Was there actually a bridge?
Yeah, there is a bridge. There's so we shoot in Rhode Island, and mostly actually on location. It's a very heavy location show, especially in season 2. In season 1, we had a couple of home sets, which we have in season 2. We're just never there. One of them actually is the bridge. And what's cool about the bridge is that there's three practical pieces to the bridge. There's an entrance, there's an exit, and we can bring those around with us to various locations. And then there's a middle that's about 150 feet long that's on our stage. And then everything is kind of connected through VFX. So, and you know, the bats are added in VFX, the static is added in VFX, and we kind of make the bridge sometimes really like double its length in VFX. But I would say it's 2/3 practical and 1/3 VFX, the bridge. And we're going to see more of Christmas Land this year as well. And last season, Christmas Land was really the only thing that was practical in Christmas Land were the gates, and everything else was digital, which we had an amazing VFX team, and we do again this year. We do have more practical Christmas land this year, and we also have more VFX Christmas land. So it's kind of like it's gotten larger in scope, both in terms of what was real and what we're still building actually now.
There's a location within Christmas Land that's like one of the coolest things in the whole season. There's, Jamie and Jahkara know what I'm talking about. I think we find it. We spend some time there in the very late episodes, very close to the end, and one in particular where I could have had a whole episode set there. It's great.
Well, let's see what we got going on in the chat room. Chad, we got I see one right here from Metal God 24100. This question is for Jamie. How did you? Oh, it just went away. How do you think Ashley's character will change now in season 2 since Vic has a son, and will he have power also?
I think that one of the ways in which, so season 1, I think for Vic is really kind of a coming of age story, right? She starts off as a kid, kind of not knowing what she's going to do with herself. When she first meets Maggie, Maggie's like, you've got this power, help me. And she's like, nah, I think I'm going to go to art school. And by the end of season 1, she's kind of, she's embraced who she is as a strong creative, but she has gone through a lot of trauma. She lost her love in the back of the Wraith. She defeated Charlie Manx kind of, but not really. And so when we meet her in season 2, she is older. She's more world weary. She is still, I think, grappling with the trauma that she experienced at the hands of Charlie Manx in season 1. She doesn't really have everything together. What she does have is a very loving family. She's with Luke Carmody, and she has a son who she, obviously loves very much. And so the stakes are higher for her, and she is, I would say, what she learns in season 1 is that in season 2 is she kind of has to put aside all of her own damage to be able to protect her son.
Good stuff. So next question comes. Go ahead, Joe.
She's really emotionally and psychologically damaged, like everyone who worked on season 1 in the Rhode Island winter.
We got a question from where would it go? There it goes. Richard Evans. Did the Wraith graphic novel have much influence on how you made Christmas Land look? Good question.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I made everybody read it.
How many Wraiths are there? How hard was it to track down all of these Rolls Royces? Do you have a whole team of them?
There are 2 Wraiths that are Wraiths, that are real Wraiths, and then we have a stunt Wraith that is actually, I think it's an old Ford that's dressed up like a Wraith, because it turns out that 80-year-old cars aren't really good at doing stunts. So they're not real good at peeling out. They don't actually go very fast. It's funny, you mentioned the Trans Am. The day that we have a Trans Am in season 2 that we use for like one episode, and I was like, this car is awesome. Because it's a muscle car. It's not an 80-year-old antique. And so it was just so much cooler to be able to like zip around and do stuff with. But the Wraith is beautiful.
There is a suggestion in the book that actually Charlie Manx is evil Michael Knight from Knight Rider.
Yes.
There is at least a faint suggestion that maybe there's a sinister streak of Hasselhoff in it.
Jahkara, we got a question from Shauna R. Does Vic get a new bridge in season 2?
No.
No.
Not what I know of. I'm pretty sure it's the same bridge.
Same bridge, new ride.
Right. Oh, new ride. Yeah. Soups up the old, goes from the dirt bike to a hog, if I'm not mistaken.
To a Triumph Bonneville, 68 Triumph Bonneville. And what's funny is when I worked on the book, I always thought if there was a movie or a TV show based on the book, Triumph would give me a motorcycle. Like, as thanks for the free advertising. So
how's that?
Nothing.
They haven't reached out to you yet?
Nothing, not a thing.
No, you know what? It's probably just the pandemic. It's backing everything up. The letter is coming in the mail. Just give it time until all this clears up. Just give time.
I wouldn't say no. If they delivered a brand new triumph, it's not like I'd reject it.
Here you go, Jahkara from Chuck Green. I had a hard time watching her getting hit by the Wraith.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious.
Jami, for you, got a question in the chat. When will the full trailer drop?
That's a great question. There were plans to drop it early, like before now, but now that we've pushed our air date, I think that it's up in the air a little bit. But maybe next week. Sorry, I don't know more.
Ooh.
I feel it's a little there's a little rethinking just because we're not airing as quickly, so they're waiting a little bit.
All right, guys. Well, we got to wrap it up. We have got more great guests here at Mainframe Comic-Con. Jami O'Brien, Joe Hill, Jahkara Smith. Guys, NOS4A2 hits your homes June 21st, Sunday, June 21st, and we may get a trailer within a week from now if Jami is to believe.
Jami practically promised, so now it has to happen.
Yeah. If it doesn't show up, you can send the complaint letters to Joe. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, guys, definitely check out NOS4A2. Episodes, I think, are streaming right now on the AMC network app. So check out, get caught up on season 1, and season 2 drops really, really soon. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Guys,
See you guys.
we got a lot more stuff right here from Chicago Comics coming up next. From Game of Thrones star Natalie Emmanuel with the great Jay Washington from Collider Movie Talk, from YouTube. You know Jay, I'm seeing him right now. You guys can't see him. He's smiling. He can't wait to hang out with you guys. So stick around just a couple minutes. Mr. Jay Washington and the beautiful Natalie Emmanuel will be back in just a sec.